Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a minute since I've done a reading, but I'm back and I'm better. So today's reading is titled, What Past Life Themes Are Showing Up in Your Life Now? So I'm going to be examining who you were in your past life, but also analyzing the themes that are showing up from your past life that could be affecting you now. And I'm somebody who's really like interested in past lives. So I thought this would be a great reading because I believe in reincarnation. And even if you don't believe in reincarnation, just keep an open mind throughout this reading. So I have three piles for you to pick. You already know the routine. So please pick using your intuition. You are welcome to pick more than one or all three if that resonates with you. So just listen to yourself. I'm going to give you all a second to pick, and then we're going to go ahead and get started with pile number one. Alrighty, we're going to go ahead and get started with pile number one. So, pile number one, you were a leader in your community and you helped to change the lives of so many people. You were a selfless hero, a martyr at best, okay? So, you were somebody that, could have put your life on the line for other people. So, along with this reading, I do have some channel messages. So, let me read those for you, pile number one. And also, this is a podcast style reading, so you won't be seeing me, okay? So the first thing that I got here for you, pal number one, is the 1800s, Civil War, Reconstruction era. So you could have lived during that time period. You could have been enslaved. You could have been a free person of color or just a non-person of color in this time period. So I'm also getting strongly Abraham Lincoln, the eugenics era. You could have been a midwife or a preacher. You were definitely a leader in your community because I get the sense that you strongly took care of your community. Like you were the voice. Okay, you were the voice for your community. I'm also picking up strongly you had activism, in your past life. You could have been a civil rights leader in the civil rights era. I'm also getting, feminism, the second wave in the 1970s. Okay. And also I'm picking up Stonewall. All right. But yeah, it's just like those type of activism type of events, like you were likely to be at one of them or have hosted them, okay? So those are some characteristics from your past life. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. So now we're going to get into the cards and see who you were even deeper. So the first card that we had for you, pal number one, was Jupiter. So you were somebody who really, really loved to learn, but also somebody who really loved to teach. Okay, so that's why I was getting you could have been a preacher. You could have also literally been a teacher or a motivational speaker here because I really get that you empowered your community. You empowered large groups of people here, okay? You taught people as well, okay? You could have even been a part of the Black Panther Party. Like, I'm just getting that very strongly, okay? The next card that we have is Pluto. So you wanted to create a new society, a new world, okay? You wanted to get rid of the old negative ways of thinking, especially, ways of thinking that harmed marginalized communities, okay? So you were definitely somebody that took on a leadership position because you really had no fear of the consequences, okay? I feel like you were somebody that was just like, I don't really have anything to lose. I care so much about other people that I'm willing to sacrifice myself. So that's what I'm getting for you, pal number one. Like with this Pluto card, you were willing to sacrifice yourself so that things could be better for other people. You really wanted people to have a good life. Okay. The next card that we have is the third house. So you were connected to a lot of people, but in this card we have writing. So you are somebody that could have read speeches here. That's why I was strongly getting like activism. You could have wrote speeches, you could have wrote books here as well. Excuse me. You're somebody who had connections with So many different people. You had allies here, but you were very good with using your voice because the third house is Gemini. Like I said, you were the voice for your community. And then Jupiter is Sagittarius energy, the third house Gemini, and Gemini and Sagittarius are sister signs. So you were a student and a teacher in your past life, okay? You like to learn, but you also like to teach. So we actually have Gemini, the card Gemini. We have another Gemini card. And then we have Aquarius. So you like to work with people on a social level. You like to deconstruct social narratives, okay? You may resonate with pile number two, pile number one, because that was the energy as well that I picked up when I was channeling. But with Gemini and Aquarius, you were the voice for your community. You stood up for people. You were somebody who was highly intellectual, but very, very smart. Somebody who was very strategic, okay? You were somebody who was unpredictable. People couldn't predict your next move. But you were very humanitarian-like. Because I'm picking up the Black Panther Party when they would feed so many groups of people. They helped people, and it's something about you helping people in that way, people in poverty as well. The next card we have is Cancer. So you had a very nurturing energy. You could have had children, but if you didn't in your past life, it's like you had this very loving energy, very compassionate energy. Underneath it all, you were one of those people that actually cared about the people because we have so many leaders now in the world who are leaders for their own benefit. So thank you, pal number one, for doing that for us. We need more souls like you. So that is who you were in the past life, pal number one. Those are some of the things that you could have done here. So now we're going to get into how those events made you feel and how your past life made you feel. So we have the fulfillment card. So you felt fulfillment doing what you did. And this is a picture of like this there's a peach in this picture and it's grown. So it's like you help people to grow. You help people to expand and that's exactly what Jupiter is about. It's about growing and expanding. Okay? So yeah, I'm definitely getting somebody could have been a preacher. Okay? Or somebody also you could have also been like a death doula along with being a midwife because there's something about you helping people enter death but also bringing life into this world. Okay, take what resonates here, but it brought you a sense of fulfillment because you were able to help people. Okay, yeah, it brought you a sense of fulfillment to see other people feel satisfied with their life because I feel like just seeing suffering around you, it pains you so much. I feel like the world suffering, you felt it on the weight of your shoulders here. Okay, but it brought you fulfillment to care about people and to be there for people. Okay. So now we're going to look at the themes. How do your past life themes show up in your life right now? And this is a timeless reading. So you could come back to this reading, okay? Because I was going to say 2024, but I'm like, this is a timeless reading. So, how does this show up? You have a lot of people pleasing tendencies, pile number one, because you want to love so much, you can overlove, overwater, and overgive. You very well could be a water sign here. You could be a Pisces, a Cancer, or a Scorpio. Take what resonates. But it's like these past life themes show up in your life with you have this innate desire to want to help people and make people's lives better, but you have to stop and ask yourself, pile number one, are people doing this for me? Are people doing the same thing for me? Are people showing up for me how I'm showing up for them? Because this also may show up in your life as past life relationships or you just attracting a lot of damaged and broken people to you and them hurting you and then you being drained after that, okay? So that's how it can show up. Ungrateful people in one-sided relationships. Because the next card that we have is inner peace. It's like you need peace in this lifetime, pound number one. Yes, you can help people, but what about your own peace? What about you? What about what you need? Pile number one, you tend to focus so much on other people and their suffering and what they're going through, but what about your suffering? What about you? What about what you're going through? So in this lifetime, pile number one, put a little bit more focus on yourself and your needs and watch yourself flourish, okay? The next card that we have is the Ace of Water. How does this show up in your life? You pour into people more than you pour into yourself. You try to fix people and then you end up hurt, okay? Then we have the Seven of Wands. I feel like these people can sometimes turn on you. Like, you start out with them very good, helping them and being there for them. And it's like the moment you can't be there for them, or the moment you can't do something for these people, they flip and it hurts you because you're like, I helped you, I've given you this. But let me tell you something, pound number one. And this is what I'm learning in my life. Some people are just so ungrateful. You can do something for somebody and they will feel like you haven't done anything for them. There are people that you will bless, you know, so much, but they'll go publicly and say you haven't done anything for them. So when it comes to people like that, you have to let them exit your life so that you can make room for people who will appreciate you. Okay. The next card that we have here is the outcast. So, how this shows up, you could be somebody who's very kind and you feel like people take your kindness for weakness, pound number one. So, you may feel ostracized or outcasted because you don't want to be involved in drama. You don't want to talk about people. You don't want to gossip. You don't want to bring people down. You don't want to, you know, cheat on your partner and just do all these things to bring another person down. Like, you're so loving and you move with love, you lead with love, and you feel like you're not from this planet. Sometimes you feel like you're born in the wrong generation sometimes because you just don't align with a lot of people your age. You don't align with a lot of the things that are happening in our society and on social media. So sometimes you can feel like an outcast, but I'm here to tell you, pound number one, that it is more people like you in this world than you believe. It's more people like you because there's somebody somewhere feeling exactly the same way you do. And you know why? Because we're all connected. We're all connected. Separation is an illusion. Okay. This can also show up as you feeling as though you give more than you receive. You could have a soul urge number 9, a life path 9, a soul urge number 7, or a life path 7. Take what resonates. You're also somebody who's very intuitive, but you don't trust yourself. I feel like when you meet these people that you want to fix, they always come with warning signs, okay? And I feel like you neglect your intuition because you want to care about people. But you have to care about your intuition, pound number one, because it's there to protect you. It's not there to scare you. And I feel like sometimes you don't want to believe your intuition because you want to see the good in people. I feel like your past life themes also show up in your life as you being someone who's idealistic. You only see the potential in people, not who they actually are in the moment. Focus on who they are in the moment, not what you think they could become or what you hope or wish, because the truth is in the now. The truth is in the present moment. What is this person showing you right now? Because that's who they are. Okay. The word peace came up. You have a card called inner peace, and you have another card called peace. Okay. So you really have to protect your peace, pal. Number one, you can't let people take that from you because I feel like it shows up in your life as you feeling drained by people and not feeling happy because other people aren't happy. But you have to understand that other people's problems are not your problems. Because I'm hearing Cleo Soul for some reason, and there was this song she has, and she was like, don't take on people's problems. There was a line, I'm getting that, okay? So that's a message from your spirit guides, pal number one. Do not take on people's problems. So another way this shows up is, imbalanced relationships, which we've already talked about. And another way it can show up is you just having a low self esteem and feeling like you're unlovable and unworthy because of how people treat you. You're not the reflection of that, pal number one. Just because people have mistreated you and couldn't love you because they didn't have the self love to love themselves, it doesn't mean you're unworthy. And I feel like you center your identity around being needed and helping people, but you're much more than that, pal number one. Okay, let's see how you can remedy this. We have the third chakra, which is our solar plexus, and this says inner harmony. And it's weird because we have a card called inner peace. So, inner, like I was saying, focus on you, okay? Because our inner is ourself, it's us, it's not the outer, it's not everybody else, okay? So it says inner harmony. I trust my innate wisdom and respond accordingly, okay? Yes. Then the fourth chakra, this is the heart chakra. Remedy this by giving yourself the love that you're giving to other people. Pound number one, pour into yourself because that's going to help strengthen your self esteem. You have the third chakra, which is our solar plexus, and it deals with our confidence. It's going to increase your confidence when you learn to give yourself that self love and give yourself that peace and cut off anybody that is blocking that peace, okay? Because you deserve the love that you give to other people. Pound number one. That was your reading. Thank you so much, pal number one. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Mwah. Oop, sorry. Goodness. Pile number two. Here we go. If you chose pile number two, this is your reading. So, pile number two, who were you in a past life? Let me get the channel messages ready. And like I told pile number one, pile number two, this is a podcast style reading, so you won't see my face. Okay, so pile number two, you were a free spirit and you marched to the beat of your own drum. You defied tradition and social norms. You were very colorful and vibrant, and you lived with a hippie-like philosophy. So you didn't allow what was happening around you to define you. You defined yourself. You broke out of tradition. How number one, that's a big thing about your past life. Like you changed something forever. Okay. So let's look at that. So I'm getting the 1970s as well. I did tell pile number one that they would resonate with pile number two. So you may have already come from pile number one. Take what resonates. Okay. So with you, pile number two, as I'm reading these channel messages, you could have also been somebody who was in the 2S LGBTQIA plus community. Okay, take what resonates because you may or may not, but I'm really getting that heavily, like, the voguing. And if you've seen the Paris is Burning documentary, this is very much tied to this energy here, okay? Because I'm getting very free spirited and an emphasis around sexuality, okay? So if this is not for you, then don't take this. But for the people that it is, there's an emphasis there where you discovered your sexuality in your past life and you were unapologetic with that, okay? You could have been the first person in your family that came out and accepted that about themselves. So that's why I'm getting you changed tradition. All right. You defied heteronormativity, okay? You could have also been a writer, a journalist, or a poet, or a radio host because there's something with you in media. We also got hippie. You could have also been into the occult. You could have been spiritual. And also, I'm getting that you could read people very well. So some of you could have been psychics here, and you could have had your own little shop. You really sought out the truth. Some of you also could have been researchers here, or you had college degrees, but you researched something that was unique and different, and it's something that brought value to the world. So, for example, I'm getting a very strong Zora Neale Hurston energy, and if you know that energy, you know Zora Neale Hurston was very eccentric. She was very different from her Black counterparts in terms of the things she would write about. So if you're a reader and not a reader of like tarot cards, but you like to read books, that's what I'm using in this context. I'm using reader in that context. Like if you're somebody that likes to read books, you know what I'm talking about, like her writing style. But also Zora Neale Hurston was an anthropologist, and she was studying different religions, and that wasn't something that Black people did during her time because a lot of people were Christian during the 1920s. Christianity was a very dominant religion in the Black community, and she did something different by exploring a religion that a lot of people deemed demonic because she was researching like voodoo and stuff like that, and hoodoo and just things like that. And people are always scared of that because they think it's demonic. People think that anything that's not Christianity is demonic, and it's not. So I'm very strongly getting that you could have done something like that. Okay, you could have also experimented with psychedelics, Mary Jane. There's some escapism tendencies here. You could have also come from a rich family because I'm getting Princess Diana. You know how Princess Diana was different from her family, and that's why she's so loved? You were very different because I'm getting a strong Uranus, Aquarius-like type of energy. But yeah, those are the channel messages, okay? So those were the characteristics. Take what resonates, okay? That's who you were in a past life. So let's look at the cards and see more of who you were. So the first card that we have is Sagittarius. So that's why I was getting that free-spirited energy. Okay. You marched to the beat of your own drum. You had your own rules. You didn't live by the world's rules. You had your own rules here, okay? You were very spiritual as well. The next card we have is the South Node, and this is about remembering and being in the past. So we are already talking about your past life. So I feel like this card is just confirming that because the South Node in astrology is our past life. So I feel like your past life is strongly coming through at this time in your life right now. So you may even be having dreams about this, or you may have an urge to like go thrifting or wear vintage clothing or listen to older music because it's you connecting back with your past life. The next card we have is Scorpio. Okay, so definitely something with sexuality and your soul wanting to experience something with sexuality. Okay, that's popping up in your past life. Not hiding yourself. You didn't like to hide yourself. Okay, in your past life, you were unapologetically you. Let's get some more cards to see. Ooh, we have Taurus. Okay, so you were somebody who you really loved luxury. So that's why I was getting somebody here was born into a rich family, or you had some type of wealth. I'm getting deja vu in the middle of this reading. But that's probably what happens to you, pound number two. You get deja vu with certain memories that you're like, where is that memory coming from? Or I feel like I've experienced this, like that's coming through. But anyways, with this Taurus energy, you were very elegant, okay? You had money, but I feel like you gave your money to people who needed it because there's this story like Robin Hood is coming up. So I feel like you could have gifted your money back to people that were less fortunate, okay? With the Neptune card, it was definitely some form of escapism. So maybe you escaped through religion, okay? Some of you could have also, even though this is a different energy from free spirit, some of you could have been nuns or heavily involved in the church here. Take what resonates because that could be for a select few. But for everybody else, it was definitely this hippie, free spirited energy. And with Neptune, there was some form of escapism. So you could have escaped through spirituality. Some people here could have escaped through music. You could have been a musician here. Take what resonates. The next card we have is Capricorn. And I feel like you, with the Neptune being next to Capricorn, pile number two, I feel like you changed tradition. And you had a different way of tradition. You had a different way of creating your own tradition. That's what I meant to say. I feel like you created your ideal tradition. You broke free from tradition because you realize it's an illusion. It's just a restriction that you allowed yourself to break free from. And I feel like, you just came from that type of family or that background where it's like everybody has to be the same. We can't make each other look bad, but I feel like you got tired of living a life where, you can't be yourself. Some of you could have also been preacher's kids in your past life, okay? There's different things popping up. Take what resonates. The next card we have is embracing. So like I said, it was something about you just being unapologetically you, being fine with that, okay? Even though you may experience backlash for who you were okay, with who you were. And I feel like you've brought that energy into this life as well, okay? With this embracing card, you embraced yourself. You embraced your reflection, even if other people didn't agree with that. So, how is this affecting you now? So, now we're going to look at the themes. So, it's easier for you to transform and change. We literally have the butterfly here, the transformation card. It's easy for you to change because you've already been in that kind of mutable energy. So right now, you could be a mutable sign, pile number two. You could be a Gemini, a Virgo, a Sagittarius, or a Pisces, or just have this strongly in your chart. Okay, take what resonates. But you're somebody who is malleable. You can change. You don't have a problem with that. So that's actually a gift, pile number two, that you've brought into this lifetime. Okay. You also are somebody who you like luxury. That's something you still like. You still like luxury, but in a unique way, in your own way. Okay. You may like fancy dinners, expensive colognes and perfumes, things like that. So we have messages from Earth here. So in this card, there's the number 10. So you've completed a lot of cycles. I feel like you could be an advanced soul pile number two. You could have an old soul here. But you've completed a lot of cycles and you're gonna complete even more cycles in this lifetime. And there's like diamonds and jewels and gold on this card. So how's this showing up? You can attract abundance and wealth to you because of your past life. You could have had money in your past life, but I don't think you ever really had a bad relationship with money. And you were very generous with money. So I feel like you have good karma when it comes to finances and things. Even if you don't believe that, you have good karma when it comes to money. So it shows up in your past life by you wanting luxury, you wanting material items that make you feel more comfortable. You could be a Cancer here as well, and you like to decorate your home with things that make you feel comfortable. You like to buy nice things. Okay, so that's how this can show up from your past life. But I feel like you're good with money. It's easy for you to acquire money and build wealth. You could have your own business as well. The next card that we have is the Six of Cups. So what themes are showing up from your past life? You literally could have people from your past life that are in your current life, pile number two, particularly people in your childhood, people that you've known for a long time. Those kinds of people are popping up. So you could have a grandmother in this lifetime that was a grandmother in another lifetime, or just some type of female figure in your life that was a prominent figure in your past life. Okay, take what resonates. Because I'm getting a maternal energy from this card, and I have the moon on this card, so that's why I'm getting a Cancer energy. It's a lot of water here as well, so you could be a water sign too, like in pound number one, because we literally got the water element with all the water signs. Yeah. So the water element card showed up. So how does this show up? So I feel like in this lifetime, pile number two, because you're such an old soul and you've brought in that beautiful non-conforming type of energy, you could have had your family treat you differently at a young age because you wanted to do things different, or you could have been bullied or talked about because you did things differently from other people, and it created a wound, and you've learned to stuff your feelings down and act like things don't hurt you, or there are certain things you like you could have been a person that liked anime, or you like gardening or cooking, and people made you feel like that's stupid, so you've distanced yourself from the things you love because of the judgment of other people. But power number two, you have to be yourself. You have to be yourself regardless if that doesn't align with anybody. The way that you how do I put this? The way that you live a beautiful life is to just be yourself, be authentic, be true to yourself. You don't have to change for anybody, pile number two. And if you do need to change, make improvements for yourself to better yourself, not so that you can be more appealing to other people. You can't please everybody, pile number two. You have to have the courage to be disliked. It's a book called Have the Courage to Be Disliked. So you might as well look that up, pile number two, and check it out. And I may actually put that in my description so that you can have access to that if you want to purchase that. But I feel like you would benefit from reading that book. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought looking at this card, but you would benefit from having, self-help books, in your journey, because I feel like there's a lot that your soul already knows, but just wants you to remember. I guess that's why that card came out, the South Node card, so that you can remember the power that you have. Because power number two, you may consider yourself to be this powerless person, but you're not. You have a big energy and a big spirit, and you can't contain that because other people are uncomfortable with that. Okay. You have to learn how to express your emotions. It's okay to talk about how you feel. It's okay to write about how you feel. It's okay to make music, or because I'm getting that you may still like to make music, or you have a connection to music because it explains your emotions for you. So, tap into that power number two so that you can release your emotions. Don't hold them in, and don't try to be conventional and fit in, because that's not you. It can show up These past life themes could show up as you trying to fit in and you don't, because you stick out like a sore thumb, but there's beauty in that. There's beauty in that. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? You also may have some escapism tendencies. So In this lifetime, you have to learn how to conquer your fears and listen to yourself. That's how you can remedy these past life themes, by listening to yourself, by trusting yourself, and by embracing your spiritual gifts. Some of you could have spiritual gifts that you don't want to show people because they think it's demonic or they're scared of it. That's probably why I was channeling that early in the reading. But be yourself. Power number two, whatever it is you believe in, whatever it is you align with, do that. Stop forcing yourself to be something that you're not. Stop forcing yourself to be okay with things that you're not okay with, okay? So we're going to look at the last two cards, and these are going to also be remedies for how you can remedy these past life themes in your life. So we have the first chakra, which is the root chakra, building a strong foundation. So building a strong foundation within yourself so that people can't come and tear you down. Like, what do you really believe in? Pound number two, you could have your Chiron and Sagittarius, okay? Because it seems like you could have had you have an issue in this lifetime with really trusting yourself. Like, you could also be somebody who's scared to have an opinion. Like, it's okay to have an opinion. Pound number two, it's okay to have the unpopular opinion, okay? Okay, that's what I'm getting. So the remedy to this past life theme that shows up is loving yourself and building a strong foundation within yourself of what you believe in, so that it's not influenced by what other people believe in. You need to be a little bit stronger in your convictions and more fixed, because a fixed sign is Aquarius, Taurus, Leo, and Scorpio. And you may already have these signs. So if you do, tap into that energy more. Like, what beliefs do you have that are fixed? It's okay to have some beliefs that are fixed, but it seems like you have beliefs, but you let other people come and change that. You can't let people change how you see yourself or how you see the world. Okay. The next card that we have is the sixth eye chakra, intuitive perception. It says, I know what my intuitive senses tell me are true. So don't run away from your spiritual gifts and don't doubt your intuition. Okay. Don't doubt yourself. Don't be afraid of judgment also, because everybody, is going to judge us and have a perception, but it doesn't mean that it's true. It doesn't mean that it actually applies. It's just a figment of that person's reality because they're projecting. So that was your reading, pile number two. Thank you for coming. Mwah. We're going to move on to pile number three. So last but not least, pile number three. Who were you in your past life? So you likely worked for a major company or a government job. You could have also been involved in the military. You were highly masculine, no matter what your gender was in your past life. No matter if you were male, female, or non binary, there's a highly masculine energy. You were attached to that masculine side. So you were very, very logical. You weren't really tapped into your feminine energy and your feminine side. And this lifetime, it's meant for you to tap into that feminine energy, okay? So let's see. Let me look at these channeled messages. And like I told the other two pals, pal number three, this is a podcast style reading. So you're not going to see my face, only hear my voice. Okay. Okay. So you could have been somebody, even though it says you have like this major company or government job, I also got some other professions, such as you being a performer, a doctor, a nurse, a physician, a boss, or manager. So those are some of the characteristics. Okay. Take what resonates. Another channel message that I picked up was the Twin Towers, okay? The Pentagon, Area 51. So that's why I was strongly getting like you had some type of government job, because all of that started popping up. Okay. You could have also worked in the White House, been a military or a sergeant or a general, something like that. You learn things that the average person wouldn't learn. Okay. So yeah, you could have been a politician as well. But I feel like pile number three, let's get into that later. Let's get into that later, okay? We'll get into that later. But those are some characteristics of your past life, okay? Take what resonates. Let's look at the cards and see even deeper into who you were, pile number three. So the first card that we got is Aquarius. So I feel like you were somebody that you could have been detached, like you didn't really care what people thought about you. You just did your own thing here, okay? But I feel like you wanted to protect people, or you worked for a group of people here, okay? The next card that we have is Cancer. So you could have had a family in your past life. I feel like you could have had a nuclear family, and if you don't know what a nuclear family is, it's a basically a heterosexual family, a man, a woman, and the kids. So you could have had something like that going on because I'm seeing that. I'm channeling like you working and then you having a wife staying at home. There's something like that. You not being at home enough because you're always at work. And then we have Libra. So your work involved like the legal system, justice. So that's why I was getting the government. Okay. So those were some themes from your past life. Well, those are some characteristics for your past life. We're gonna get into the themes later. First, we're gonna look at more of who you were. So with Scorpio being here, I feel like for your getting tongue twisted. Bound number 3, I feel like for your profession, you did it hidden. So with Scorpio being here, that's why I was getting like the FBI, like you were hidden. It was kind of like mysterious. Like people didn't know all the time what you did, but they knew it had to be something hidden. So you could have been a spy, like things like that. But you worked for the government in some type of way. You could have also been an assassin. There's all types of things coming up because having Scorpio, Mars, and Pluto, you had some type of job where you use force on people or they use force on you. Take what resonates, okay? But with this energy being here, I was trying not to get into it, but it's just coming through very strongly. Pound number 3, I feel like you were betrayed in your past life. Your life could have been cut short in your past life, pound number 3. And now let's get into the themes. Now let's get into the themes, okay? So how this shows up in your life, pile number 3 is that you have a problem with trust, okay? You do not trust people at all. And I was picking up Julius Caesar. I remember when I first learned about Julius Caesar, pile number 3, I was a sophomore in high school, and I had a teacher who was very insensitive to what happened. I'm like, he was betrayed by his own friends, people that he thought loved and cared for him, and she was like, oh well, like she didn't really care. But I was just like, wow, like imagine dealing with that. And I feel like that's something that happened to you and it wounded you. And pound number 3, I feel like it wounded you on a soul level. Okay, that's why it's coming up so strongly that you remember it. Okay. There's something about people going behind your back. So there's different scenarios. So it could have been a best friend, group of people you worked with, but it was something that also you were trying to expose, pound number 3. Because have you seen the movie The Ghost? It has Demi Moore in it, and who else? Whoopi Goldberg plays in it. And you know what happened to the main character? Like his own friend got had him set up because he was figuring out that, okay, something isn't right. Money is being stolen. Okay. So it's something like you were trying to have justice in a situation and they didn't want justice. So you could have been friends with people who you didn't know that they were toxic. You didn't know that these people were treacherous. Some of you could have even been police officers, and you didn't know that you were working with crooked cops. Take what resonates here. Or it could have been your wife with your best friend or your wife with another person. That's what I'm getting. Like somebody that deeply betrayed you. Okay. And it shows up with you not being able to trust people. And because the card Venus is here, that's why I felt like it was a lover. It could have been a lover, but also, you know, not just a lover, but your friends, because we have that Aquarius card, okay? Your friends. So it shows up in your life, pound number 3, these themes, because this is a little bit more heavy. But that's okay because I can work through this. It's this deep energy of grief and hurt and sadness because it's like this energy, if I wasn't ready to go or if I had only known. I feel like you spent so much time working, pound number 3, that maybe you didn't notice that your partner was lonely, or you just spent so much time working and being ambitious and wanting to do the right thing that you didn't see the people around you and how they were really moving. They were wanting to do the wrong thing. They were wanting to have power. They didn't want to have integrity. They didn't want to do the right thing, and you did. And this may show up in your past life as you actually, experience some people betraying you and it wounds you to the point where now you don't trust people. You're not very warm with people, you're not very friendly, and it blocks you from reaching abundance in this lifetime and having beautiful relationships because you're afraid. You're afraid of being hurt. You're afraid of being betrayed because you've experienced it so much. Some of you could have actually, in your past life, been betrayed by a family member as well, okay? And that shows up in this life, like it mirrors to you so that you can heal this wound because, like I said, this is something that hurts you on a soul level. And it's something that you're working through in this lifetime. In this lifetime, learn how to discern who's trustworthy from who's not. Because there are beautiful people in this world who will love and embrace you. Okay? You don't have to live your life. You don't have to live your life in fear. This also shows up. Power number three is you dimming your light. Okay. Because I feel like subconsciously you have this belief that if you shine, somebody's going to put that light out. You're afraid to shine. Okay. Because I feel like also in your past life, there could have been some jealousy involved. You could have had people jealous of you. And that's why the situation happened. But for some of you, you were just something was taken from you, whether it was your life, your partner, your assets, a job, a social status or standing, something was taken from you by somebody you loved and trusted. And it shows up as you hold grudges and you're resentful of people. Okay. Forgiveness is very hard for you. It shows up in your life like that. You could also have heavy 12th house placements. You really are somebody who you become more and more reserved. You could isolate yourself a lot here as well. You could also talk yourself out of opportunities because you're just afraid of what could happen. You don't really allow, and if people are nice to you, you're suspicious of them. Power number three, you're suspicious of people who are kind to you because of that past life memory. That is how it shows up. So now let's look at how you can remedy that, okay? Number one, give love to yourself. That's how you can remedy that. Know that you didn't deserve what happened to you. And even in this life, when people do you wrong and they betray you, don't make it about yourself, pile number three. Because I promise you, it's not about you, it's about them. For a person to move like that, for a person to betray somebody who's been good to them, you have to understand, pile number three, it's not about you. Because it doesn't matter how good we treat people. You hear me? It does not matter how good we treat people. That doesn't mean that they're going to treat us good. We can't think that because we give so much love to another person that that's automatically going to come back. That person has to be wanting to give you that, but number one, having the mental tools to be able to provide that to you. Sometimes, path number three, some people just aren't on your level, and then sometimes some people just lack empathy, and those are not the kind of people you want in your life. So to remedy this, number one, love on yourself. Know that you are valuable and worthy, because when you want people to love and appreciate you have to do it for yourself, pound number three. So it starts with you, okay? Because you have the fourth chakra, the heart chakra, and it says radiate warmth and sincerity. So radiate that warmth and sincerity to yourself. And I was getting that you weren't very friendly. And it's not that you're mean to people, pound number three. It's just you're not gonna go overboard to make small talk with a stranger. But maybe you should try it because not everybody is out to get you, pound number three. That's what you also have to realize. Not everybody is snaking and plotting on you, and strengthening your discernment because you also have a sixth eye chakra card as well. Knowledge. Okay. So when you meet people, pile number three, pick up on their vibes. Don't, sometimes like you may meet people, excuse me, you may meet people and miss out on red flags. So again, pay attention. Another pile got that as well. Okay. I think it was pile number one. So you may resonate with pile number one, pile number three. But it's like you have to trust yourself, trust your gut, okay, when you're meeting new people. And if when you experience people who want to hurt you or who have hurt you, you just have to remove yourself from the equation. It was not about you, it was about them. Sometimes some people's suffering is so strong that it's going to spill over and it's going to harm you, but you have to understand that it's not about you. Pile number three, a great way to help you heal this past life wound is to not internalize it. Do not internalize what happened to you because it didn't have anything to do with you. It wasn't because you were a bad person. It was because those people weren't good people. Okay? And even in this lifetime, when you experience people who do you wrong, like don't make it about yourself. It's about them. I feel like you may come from a family dynamic where you just tolerate those kind of people, or you just experience betrayal after betrayal after betrayal, and it makes you a little bitter. But I want to tell you, pal number three, discernment is key. Discernment is key. What do you feel? And then this goes for family too. Like, don't be afraid to sense something about a family member because you're like, oh, they're family, so I'm not allowed to call them out on their BS, or I'm not allowed to distance myself, or, stay away from that person because of their energy. No, you're allowed to do just that. You can stay away. You can protect yourself. Listen to yourself. That's the lesson. Listen to yourself in this lifetime. Stop listening to other people. Stop letting people gaslight you and talk you out of what you know to be true. Power number three, you could deal with people sometimes making you feel like you're crazy, but you're not crazy. Okay? You know what you feel. So that was your reading. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it so, so much. I know I've been gone, but thank y'all for being patient and sticking with me. And I have more interesting readings, so stay tuned.